Module 3 The Conscious and Unconscious Mind. Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory of personality follows the concept of interaction of conflicting forces that operate at different levels of awareness. It believes that the conscious mind consists of everything inside our awareness. Our conscious mind can be perceived as the aware state, where it holds the thought of the present moment, or the objective mind. The brain takes up sensory data from it and processes it to make up data that could be useful for us. The conscious mind is considered as the tip of the iceberg. A simple analogy for the mind would be a cross-section of a tree trunk, where the outermost ring is the conscious mind. The next ring is the non-conscious mind, followed by the pre-conscious, the subconscious mind, and then comes the unconscious mind. The rings represent the 5 levels of the mind. The non-conscious mind deals with all the information that the brain has decided upon are useless and are never going to find its way into conscious mind. This helps the mind to not get weighed down by information overload and keeps it clutter-free. It is an automatic function. The next one is pre-conscious mind, which has information filed away, but could be retrieved at any point of requirement. The pre-conscious mind is very organized and stores a lot of information. One may never be aware of this information. Oftentimes, a new stimuli may force the brain to retrieve a certain information that the individual may not be aware of at all, but it was stored away neatly. The pre-conscious mind could be as seen as a ready-to-use database. The subconscious mind has information stored away and could be retrieved when specific need arises. This is different from the pre-conscious mind, as the subconscious mind often needs added force to retrieve information. Freud considered that the subconscious mind is mostly inaccessible, but certain contents may suddenly bubble up unexpectedly, like in dreams. Hypnosis often is used to retrieve such data buried deep in the mind. The subconscious mind often holds interesting information that could be surprising. It is also known to often hold beliefs, emotions, memories and feelings which we do not hold a reason for. These emotions may exert an influence on a person's behaviors or personality as well without the person being aware of it at all. The unconscious mind eradicates data not required by the brain. It acts as an organizer, filing away data as per the information category. Useful data gets stored into the pre-conscious or subconscious, and data that have no possible use might get wiped out entirely. Sleep is a naturally occurring state of mind and body focused at rejuvenating the body through periodic occurring cycles. It is characterized by transitional stages of consciousness, relatively inhibited sensory activity and some amount of reticence to voluntary muscles during the stage of rapid eye movement, REM, sleep, and extremely low interaction with the surroundings. Sleep is very important for a person's well-being. If someone does not sleep regularly for the regular 6 or more hours as prescribed, they may face various issues. Without sleep they cannot form or maintain neural pathways in the brain that enables to learn and create new memories. Also, it may also hinder their ability to concentrate well and response time. Sleep can be basically divided into 2 forms, REM and non-REM sleep. The non-REM sleep has 3 different stages. Each of these is linked to specific brain waves and neural activity. A person cycles through all stages of sleep several times during a typical night. Most people experience 4 to 6 sleep cycles throughout the night. The quantum of REM sleep increases and becomes deeper towards morning. Stage 1 is non-REM sleep, or the transitional stage that makes the change from wakefulness to sleep. As you start getting tired and start falling asleep, your brain waves start to slow down. During this period the heartbeat, breathing rate, eye movement slow down and the muscles relax. It may last several minutes. Stage 2 non-REM sleep is also known as light sleep. It is the stage when you have fallen asleep but you haven't entered the deep sleep. Brain waves noticeably slow down in the light sleep, but it may experience sudden bursts of electrical activity. The body temperature drops and the eye movements stop and the heartbeat, breathing rate slows down even further. The muscles also relax more in this stage. The majority part of the repeated cycles is spent in this stage as compared to other stages. Stage 3 non-REM sleep is also called deep sleep. In the first half of the night, the deep sleep stages are longer. it is utmost important to feel refreshed in the morning. The heart rate and the breathing rate is the lowest at this stage. It gets difficult to wake up at this stage as brain waves become even slower. It accounts for about 20% of sleep in young adults. REM sleep, or the rapid eye movement stage of sleep, first occurs about 90 minutes after falling asleep. Eyes move rapidly behind closed eyelids. A lot happens during this stage of sleep. Brain activity frequency increases as in the stage of wakefulness. Breathing rate becomes faster and irregular, the heartbeat and blood pressure restore to near waking levels. Dreams mostly occur in this stage. The arms and leg muscles paralyze so as to prevent you from acting out your dreams. Initially, the duration of REM sleep can sustain only for 10 minutes, increasing throughout the cycles to approximately an hour during later cycles. It helps to stabilize emotions and to create new memories. Sleep disorders. Insomnia is a sleep disorder where one struggles to fall asleep. It is one of the most common sleep disorders. The condition can be short-term, acute, or can last a long time, chronic. It may also come and go. Acute insomnia lasts from one night to a few weeks. Insomnia is chronic when it happens at least 3 nights a week for 3 months or more. Many distinct reasons are associated with insomnia. These could be stress, anxiety, depression, medication, illness, exercising too late, irregular work shifts affecting sleep pattern, caffeine intake or alcohol intake or other similar stimulants. Insomnia can sap energy levels and mood as well as affect health, work performance and quality of life. The symptoms of insomnia include difficulty falling asleep at night, waking up during the night, waking up too early, not feeling well rested after a night's sleep, daytime tiredness, irritability, less concentration span, difficulty in paying attention, etc. Clinical evidence suggests sleep deprivation can be witnessed in most mental issues and disorders. Erratic behavior can be caused by sleep deprivation. As a therapist, it is important to take note of the client's symptoms while diagnosing. There are other disorders of sleep like disorder of the circadian rhythm. It may affect the person's sleep patterns and can be difficult to diagnose because of a lot of reasons like physical ailments. Sleep apnea is also one such disorder, which is life-threatening. It stops people from breathing while they are asleep and is an upper respiratory sleep disorder. Blood oxygen levels drop irregularly and dramatically, causing emergency hormones to be released into the body. This causes the person to wake up. Once they are awake, the breathing goes back to normal. The cycle repeats when the person falls asleep again and the person continues to struggle staying asleep for a longer time. If it occurs multiple times in a night, it can exhaust the person and if left unattended, the person may even die during the night. Dreams. A dream is a succession of images, ideas, emotions, and sensations that usually occur involuntarily in the mind during certain stages of sleep. The content and purpose of dreams are not fully understood, although they have been a topic of scientific, philosophical and religious interest throughout recorded history. Dream interpretation is the attempt at drawing meaning from dreams and searching for an underlying message. The scientific study of dreams is called neurology. Dreams mainly occur in the rapid eye movement, REM, stage of sleep, when brain activity is high and resembles that of being awake. REM sleep is revealed by continuous movements of the eyes during sleep. At times, dreams may occur during other stages of sleep. However, these dreams tend to be much less vivid or memorable. The length of a dream can vary. They may last for a few seconds, or approximately 20 to 30 minutes. People are more likely to remember the dream if they are awakened during the REM phase. The average person has 3 to 5 dreams per night, and some may have up to 7. However, most dreams are immediately or quickly forgotten. Dreams tend to last longer as the night progresses. During a full 8-hour night's sleep, most dreams occur in the typical 2 hours of REM. Dreams related to waking life experiences are associated with REM theta activity, which suggests that emotional memory processing takes place in REM sleep. Dreams enable the psyche to analyze the different events. Often traumas are also manifested in the dream, making it a lot troublesome. In neuroimaging studies of brain activity during REM sleep, scientists found that the distribution of brain activity might also be linked to specific dream features. Several bizarre features of normal dreams have similarities with well-known neuropsychological syndromes that occur after brain damage, such as delusion and misidentifications for faces and places. The circadian rhythm varies for each person, yet they remain consistent. The biological clock determines the quality of life. For example, our energy levels and alertness is determined through our biological clock. A lot of physiological occurrences are coordinated through the circadian rhythm, including body temperature, metabolism, secretion of hormones, sexual arousal and heart rate. Lucid dreams are the dreams in which the person dreaming is aware of the dream. Research shows that lucid dreaming comes with a boost of activity in parts of the brain that are usually restful during sleep. Lucid dreaming is a brain state between REM sleep and being awake. Dreams can also be considered an altered state of consciousness. Meditation and yoga can also be used to achieve this stage. It is beneficial as it can help attain a new level of perspective and find solutions to some issues. Within psychotherapy, dreams are important to understand the client's situation and mental state. Clients may demonstrate avoidance so as to not relive the disturbing subjects. As a therapist, the client needs to be noticed for such irregularities and trauma. People who are found to behave in such patterns try to avoid the reality and find an escape rather than a solution. Learning is the process of gaining new understanding, information, behaviors, skills, values and preferences. Psychologists often define learning as a relatively permanent change in behavior as a result of experience. The psychology of learning focuses on a range of topics related to how people learn and interact with their environments. It is a theoretical science that covers the various psychological theories that relate with learning. Throughout history, there have been many various psychological learning theories. Some take on a more behaviorist approach which focuses on inputs and reinforcements. Other approaches, such as theories related to neuroscience and social cognition, focus more on the brain's organization and structure to define learning. Some psychological approaches, such as social constructivism, focus more on one's interaction with the environment and with others. Other theories, such as those related to motivation, like the growth mindset, focus more on the individual. Instincts and reflexes are innate behaviors, they occur naturally and do not involve learning. In contrast, learning is a change in behavior or knowledge that results from experience. The field of behavioral psychology focuses largely on measurable behaviors that are learned, rather than trying to understand internal states such as emotions and attitudes. Much of the learning takes place during childhood and we derive the lessons from our surroundings. It can be either positive or negative. Often the negative traits in our learning can be unhealthy and are needed to be avoided. Such traits may pose a problem in the later stages of life. It always needs to be remembered that the client that comes to us may face challenges not only due to the education because a very less part of it plays a role in determining our behaviors. Types of learning. There are three main types of learning: classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and observational learning. Classical conditioning. Through classical conditioning, we learn to associate events. A stimuli may affect an event that we come to anticipate. Operant conditioning. The learning process by which behaviors are reinforced or punished, thereby strengthening or diminishing a response, is called operant conditioning. The term law of effect, coined by Edward Thorndike, states that behaviors that are followed by consequences that are satisfying to the organism are more likely to be repeated, and behaviors that are followed by unpleasant consequences are less likely to be repeated. B.F. Skinner differentiated between positive and negative reinforcement, and also explored the concept of extinction. Observational learning. Observational learning takes place through observing the surroundings and imitating behaviors, even when there exists no reinforcement. There are different types of learning and not all are positive. Negative classical conditioning. Negative stimuli can create aversive conditioning. If a task is repeated time and again forcefully, it may create pain and negative memory and fear. When a person has an irrational reaction, the person may have suffered through negative classical conditioning. Stimulus generalization. Often through different associations and situations, we may achieve some associations that are not classically conditioned. A person may fear dogs after being bitten and they carry the shock throughout their life. This is stimulus generalization. Stimulus discrimination. Some events associated with stimulus generalization are not so. Individuals are often involved in stimulus discrimination. Through age and experience, individual may find a midway between discrimination and general response. As a person gets older, they may overcome the fear of dogs after being bitten. If the case is not so, it may be a case of stimulus discrimination. The experiences that we go through undoubtedly change our behaviors and personality. We learn to associate positive feelings with certain elements, or we may develop negative feelings about certain events. This is the result of conditional learning. There are, however, three stimulating qualities which would pertain in classical conditioning, and these include contrast, contingency and information. Contrast pertains to stimuli that are noticeable. Contingency can be quite powerful and the association can last a lifetime. Information is when stimuli occurs but more data is needed. A client when ill-treated may show negative traits. It is imperative for the therapist to take into account of such understandings and behaviors and reinforce changes to ensure positive outcomes. But it is not easy. The client would need to unlearn such learning, and to do so, certain behaviors need to be avoided, like punishments and eradication of similar behaviors. Some techniques used include relaxation learning, social skills training, systematic desensitization, and virtual reality exposure and aversion theory.